Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward.
What's up, guys? Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert. Do your own research. So today I just want to talk about some different altcoin trades that I'm looking at right now. For one, I'll just get into it for now. These are all altcoin trades. Altcoins are what I trade. Don't really trade ETH or BTC as much actively, and yeah. So this is Luna. Luna is obviously like a great coin. This hasn't really broken market structure either, in my opinion. If you look on high time frame charts, like the 1 day, I mean, this was still like a higher low that established back in late November. And I remember tracking this coin, and I was looking at this kind of low $50 area, and there's just a lot of confluence with it. There was a 200 EMA on the 4 hour. This was a demand area. I believe there was like it's kind of like a high volume node, kind of around 55, 57. And at the end of the day, I never took it. I decided to take another trade instead. I took sand, which was not a smart decision, and this one continued higher. What we're seeing right now is this is still very bullish, and I see that the funding rates today are um, people are really trying to short this thing very hard, and it's very scary to short these types of situations. You don't want to usually step in front of a speeding train. In my opinion, a better short is like wait for the blow off top. I don't know where it's going to be. It's going to dip, and then it's going to make some sort of lower high. At that point, it's a little bit safer to short at that point. Um, and when the market structure clearly looks bearish on low time frame charts, that's the point when you can look to short. If you're looking for entries on this coin, it's hard to say. The all-time high levels around $78 would be an interesting area of support, in my opinion. There's a lot of confluence there as well with this demand zone right here. And if you look down on lower time frame charts, there's going to be like certain demand areas as well. Like this is also a demand area around like $80. But again, these are like, it's like pretty risky given like the area or given the overall price action and where price is currently at. Like, you know, if and when this eventually does have the dip, it will dip fairly hard in my opinion. I just don't know when or where it will be. Um, if you're looking for targets and if you are in Luna right now, I would look for, let's look at the, oh, okay. Let's look at some future targets. So some future targets for Luna would be 92, and then 101 should be very significant resistance. I wouldn't even, like, if you're just going to blind short, I wouldn't start blind shorting into like $100 personally. I think it's just like it's a psychological number, and yeah. So those are my overall thoughts on Luna. Personally, I wouldn't really buy here at all. If you want to short at $100, but it's better for it to kind of have a big blow off top and then like come back down and then um, make some sort of lower high, and at that point we'll see a larger dip happen. I think that's a much safer shorting opportunity in my opinion. Shorting now is just very risky. It will come down, like, you know, there will be a hero eventually, but you might lose a lot of money initially to begin. So, if you are looking to buy a dip on this, then I would personally wait and be patient. If you want to be an aggressive entry, $75 would be somewhat aggressive. Again, depending on where this stalls out. If it stalls out at $100, then yeah, sure, 75 will be a great entry. But it's really hard to call when the quote unquote dip will happen and where the best buying opportunity will be. You really want to look for price action similar to what we saw back in kind of early December, where it takes a long time for bottoms to form. This is like the ideal thing where you see like price come down, come back down, start making some lower highs and higher lows, and just take a lot of time for bottom. This is like an ideal type of situation where you just buy this bottom. But you know, when this situation happens, people are too scared to actually buy. So you have to have a plan before it actually happens. YFI was one that was really looking for. I was really eyeing this 28K area because I thought this was going to come down lower, but it made it pretty clear that this was just a bull flag, and price made another move up. You can change the fibs a little bit, and if you look on lower time frame charts, okay, so there's not much there. If you want to be an aggressive entry for YFI and long, this 31K area looks interesting to me. However, that area did get bid frequently. So my plan personally would be to bid 50% of my position at the 382 fib around 31K, and then 50% of my position at the 0.5 fib. When this eventually starts coming back down. And there's a lot of confluence here with this 29K area as well, given the 200 EMA on the 4-hour. This should provide okay support, I believe, on the first tap. So that's kind of like an area I would view. If you're just a patient trader, then yeah, go ahead and just bid it all at the 29, 30K area. That would be totally okay in my opinion. Good plan. Dusk is another interesting coin that I was looking at before. And this is a coin that I actually mapped out very well, but I got very greedy, and most of my entries were at the 618 fib. Did have this all mapped out though, which was a little bit disappointing to see the way that it played out. I do expect like a lower high to form. So we might see something like this, and then we're gonna see where the low is printed. If the low is printed like this, and we make like a higher low, we could just enter a consolidation area where we have something like this, where we have like lower highs and higher lows. Certainly possible to see something like that, where we just start nailing the 382 fib and eventually just move up higher. It's also possible this just makes a lower high and then starts coming back down again. Again, not really sure. I removed my bids. This is an active trade, though, in the sense that this is a very strong coin given these current market conditions. Dusk has the ZK narrative, and it's definitely one to look at. AVAX is another coin that looked pretty interesting to me. AVAX, still similar to Luna, never really truly broke market structure, in my opinion. Like, it formed this kind of higher low that we see, and I would like to see it kind of break this higher high. It did break market structure it didn't. I'm still a bit wary overall on the higher time frames, but I mean, on the 4-hour it looks pretty good in my opinion. Like, we're seeing some like short-term higher highs and higher lows. I would like to see it break this 125 area. This is like a significant area of resistance. You can see it getting tapped twice here. So I would like to see that getting broken. That to me would just be an absolute confirmation of higher high at that point. And yeah, it still looks pretty solid though relative to other altcoins. I do think that this chart looks better than many other ones, as I said before. If you're looking for a trade, you could try to short 130 or so. That would be an interesting area. You could also look to long. I would look to long maybe. I would wait for it to kind of go up to 130 and look to buy a dip around like probably 115 or something like that. In my opinion, this would be a solid opportunity because this would still maintain the structure of higher highs and higher lows at that point. So those are a few different trades that I would personally, these are a few trades that I'm looking at myself. I'm mainly only looking for coins that are really trending. MATIC is one more as well. MATIC is a coin that still looks structurally pretty solid. This area around 170 was all resistance. Like, you could see resistance back in June, August, September, and November, and price had a hard time breaking through there. Finally busted through and is now testing this 250 area, which is a resistance area. But you can still see that despite these long wicks, the market structure on the daily is still intact, in my opinion. Still seeing like higher highs and higher lows. Would like to see a higher high over $22.60. And yeah, still looks okay structurally. So this is another coin that I would look for. In terms of a trade opportunity, I personally am looking at a break of 250. So you could wait for a break of 250 and target the all-time highs around 275. That's certainly an interesting trade you can take. You could also consider shorting to 50 as well, but again, that area has been tapped several times, so you want to watch out for that. Especially if price starts to consolidate quite a bit, like around here, then I think that shorting that area is a little bit higher risk. So those are a few different trades that I'm viewing right now. The market is overall still pretty choppy, and I would be a little bit cautious, but yeah, still think things look pretty good. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.